St. Patrick's Spank Fest at the Manor, and it's I'm wearing a suit, tie, and everything like that, and underneath I have a corset, garter belt, stockings, and I'm locked. So we go down to the dungeon, right? And it's beautiful. There's so many things going on. So like there's people on the St. Andrew's Cross. There's people on the spanking bench. It's wonderful. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, there's a collar on me, and I'm in a French maid outfit, and I'm on the floor massaging the feet of my queen, and I'm really getting into it too. I'm like, I'm in a trance, right? Like, like you can see, and someone's really massaging the feet with their elbows, like really getting into it. It's like you're playing the bongos, you know what I mean? You always use your elbows. Tito Point, use your elbows, and you, love it. Every move is a passion to it. And she's sitting there. And this was totally impromptu. That's the beauty of it. It was totally impromptu. And she's sitting there and feeling wonderful. And I'm very fortunate that my queen is a sensualist. So every touch counts. Let's put it that way. And I'm allowed to touch, right? I take pride in being a good lover, right? Playing our kinky games. Yeah. So, and that's how my weekend started. So, wise Mistress Natasha. Let me back up. In between massages, she had me take off my panties in front of everybody. There's 30 people in this dungeon. Go over her knee because her feet, my goal for the whole night was to keep her off her feet, right? And then so I had to go over her knee, and then she got paddles, and other people spanked me, and I got spanked galore, and I went right back to the floor to massage her feet. And then there was the sucking on the nipples, but that's a whole other story. But so, Mistress Natasha, how can I have taken that up another notch? Next time, if I'm in that situation, hopefully I will be again. What can I do to take it up a level?
How can you take that up a level? Worshipping your queen like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's for you. Maybe it's for your queen to decide what she wants. I don't know if I'd want someone coming into my scene and bossing me around. I'm very instructional.
No, I meant me being the one in the maid on the leash on the floor massaging the feet. Both of us as a queen and their sub. How can we have taken that up a level together?
I don't know. I mean, that's like this was already in public. So
yeah. And it was impromptu, which is, ladies and gentlemen, this is YKF Weekends. I am Nicholas Tannick. I am here with the magnificent Mistress Natasha and the magnificent Mistress Claudia.
Can you see me?
Everything. Yes, I can see you and I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I'm in my van. I was helping my cousin move, and the time difference kind of messed up.
Yes, I'm sorry for that.
Sorry.
But I do want to say that everything we say is consensual. We are consenting adults. And don't judge. We're consenting adults. Everything we do is consensual. Don't judge. That's why you're lonely. You'll be a happier person if you're not a judgy asshole. Simple as that. Welcome to YKF Weekends. How's everybody doing? What's inspiring you these days? Mistress Claudia?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm sorry. I keep getting this mixed up with the time differences in Arizona from New York. So I was moving with my cousin.
We were talking about Mistress Claudia was on the very first episode that we were going to have. Kat Marie was supposed to show up. She didn't. And we're talking about misconceptions. So one of the things that we all talk about is, do you feel that people have misconceptions of you? Being in the kink community, who knows what the hell people think of me? I'm sure they talk about me. I'm sure they have their judgments and everything like that, So I'm asking you, Mistress Natasha, do people have misconceptions about you?
Yeah, they do. They do. And like most of the time they're all true. But I just think, yeah, people have misconceptions. I don't know why I seem to get all the intake forms that I get, people are always saying that their hard limits are like children and animals. I don't know what makes people think that like I'm into that. I don't know what makes people think that like that is what BDSM is. So that's probably like the biggest misconception is that we're doing some really freaky stuff, but I think it's more of a disconnect on their part from not really understanding what BDSM really is.
Mistress Claudia, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, those are my two hard limits. I definitely I would anyone that is involved in any of that horrible behavior where they do harm to animals or children is terrible. And I think I get a huge misconception where people just think that I sit around in latex all day and they can just reach out and I'm ready to go to see them, and that I don't have a real life. I feel that that's the biggest misconception of me is I sit around on a throne twiddling my thumbs until people reach out to me and I'm ready to go, that I don't have a real life, or I do have a real life.
So do people have any certain misconceptions of you specifically? Like for example, a sub comes up to you and they automatically think like, I know some subs in general just have misconceptions of doms. Like they'll take the money, they'll like brutally beat them to a point where they can't function, or that they'll need hospital, some like a hospital or something like that, or that they'll like break up their marriage, break up their work, or something like that. All this stuff. How do you deal with people coming up to you with that misconception?
Me?
Mistress Natasha, yes, Mistress Natasha. Sorry, I should have
okay.
said.
Yeah, I think like the biggest like misconception about BDSM is that it's like non-consensual and abusive. I think that's kind of the the gist of it. Well, I think or that like kinksters come from trauma or yeah. So I think a lot of it just has to do with like just it being like non-consensual and abusive, which it is not, because I think that, we in the BDSM community are actually so much more aware of consent violations, and we're so much more careful with consent and ethics and safety, negotiations, aftercare. I think it's all really important stuff that people don't realize. That's really wrapped into our community.
Speaking of being safe and talking about it I like the process, the politeness of it, so to speak, of like, what are you into? What are your hard limits? This and that. You know what I mean? You get some people who are like, fuck it, I would do anything. Like, and how do you react to that when people who are just so gung-ho, they have the frenzy in them? Mistress Claudia, how do you react to people who are like that? Because I know you get messages constantly. I want to be your slave, Mistress Claudia. Can I be your slave? Can I be your dog? Can I live in a cage? Can you feed me?
Right. I think the biggest, that's to me, is when someone says that you could do whatever you want. To me, that's kind of like, they're not educated, they've never done this before, or they're full of crap, or it kind of raises concern for me when someone says, oh, well, you could do whatever you want to me. So the first thing I'll say, oh, so I can cut off your fingers, or I can stick you with 5,000 needles, or and they're, oh gosh, no, so.
Mistress Natasha?
Yeah, I think that's just coming from a place of them not understanding, and it's just really telling of their experience, I think. which is okay. You know, when people do that to me, I mean, I don't really, you know, I don't know. In my head, I want to like say, you know, well, then we'll do scat play and I'll befriend you, you know, but I don't say that because I'm a professional. But yeah, I think it just comes from a place of like them not really understanding. And then I think it's just a matter of just backtracking with them and just connecting on kinks that do align rather than, oh, you could do anything. So it's just adding a little bit more structure to like I would consider that like my vetting and screening and pre-negotiating process at that point where those things would be all you know, talked about in the discussion and pre-negotiated.
One
Common
of the
ground.
things that I always find fascinating in the kink community is the idea of a double life. Even me, I mean, I live a double life. You know, with food. So one thing I'm curious about is what is the real you like? Without giving too many details, like I said, this is private. A lot of this is pageantry and role play and stuff like that. But how would you, in a couple words, how would you describe the real you, Mistress Claudia?
The real me, I'm like a shadow. I'm very private in my real life. Um, I I I have a huge animal rescue and sanctuary, and I spend most of my time with animals. Um, it's almost turned into a double life for me now as I get older. So, um,
Mistress
yeah.
Natasha?
I would have to say the same things. Like I'm also like a very private person, and I'm also an extroverted introvert, I guess. Yeah, people think that like and I would consider myself very kind. I don't want to hurt people, you know, in any way in my public life. So yeah, and but I'm a fierce mama bear. Fierce. Like you come for me, you come for my people, you know? So there's that part of
Oh,
it. You mess with the bull, you get the horns.
and we have a new guest to YKF Weekends. We have Domme Danielle, friend of the show. Say hi, Danielle. Domme Danielle,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks. Thanks for the invite. I'm excited to be in good company.
Oh, you were in excellent company. I love my kinky friends. They're so great. So let's just go back to first couple of questions. The subject of today is misconceptions. Do you feel that some people have misconceptions about you, and what are they?
Are you asking me specifically,
I'm
or did they
asking you
already answer?
specifically. They already
Yeah,
answered.
yeah, totally. I mean, I heard Mistress Natasha. I think it was Natasha saying that she's a introverted extrovert. I think a lot of people think that we have to be extroverted because we're like performing, in some sense. I'm a massive introvert. To the point where it's like damaged some relationships because I just like can't meet needs. You know. Yeah. And that there, of course, there's other misconceptions too, like oh, I must be sexual. Not really now. You know, I'm very very asexual lately, but that doesn't keep me from doing BDSM because to me that's more sacred exchange of trust and eroticism. You know, but they must assume that I'm like this sex fiend who's like working all hours of the night. You know, and I don't like to work past 8.
Yeah, I mean, like once you're surrounded by sex, I'm surrounded by sex constantly, and I'm hypersexual. I'm always like, I'm locked in chastity. Yeah, I mean, seriously. But still, even it's like I've seen that before. I get to that point where it's like, yeah, I've seen that before. So,
Yeah.
what are some, Dom Danielle? What are some major misconceptions that people have of the BDSM community that you feel need to be addressed?
That everything is like 50 Shades of Grey. And I never read the book and I will not, but you know, I think that with, you know, technology, we see a lot in porn, kinky porn, which is like, you know, the porn star who's holding a whip, and that's now being called BDSM, right? Like, and I had to take a break for a while because the whole sacred and ritualistic aspect of BDSM was so cheapened by what people were seeing filtered through the screens that, like, I got tired of trying to bring it back to its true essence. So I had to stop. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So what would you say the real you is like? Domme
Very
Danielle?
boring. I'm very boring.
But you're honest. That's what counts. I'd rather have honest and boring than a lying, exciting liar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I
mean-
heard I can't see it's Mistress Natasha, and who is the other one?
Oh, it's Miztress Claudia.
Claudia. Okay, that thing is in the way. I heard Miztress Claudia say that she had an animal rescue. And one thing that I see common with a lot of sex workers, whether you identify as a sex worker or not, I'm not sure. I do, but there's a big common thing that we like animals, and a lot of us have animal rescues and like a lot of pets. And I think that's because our pets are more tolerable than humans, right? And I heard the other ladies talking about the double lifestyle, and yeah, I can identify with that as well. Yeah, I don't know if I'm boring. I want maybe to be. I just have a very quiet, calm life. I don't like chaos. I like controlled chaos, right? But yeah, I'm a deep listener. I'm introspective, introverted, very sensitive, very sensitive. And maybe that's helped me in my career. Yeah.
One thing I do want to ask, we'll go around the room, is people misinterpreting consensual role play. For example, we were going to have a person on the show named Kat Marie who does adult baby. She's a mommy dom. She's very good at it. She's crib and everything. She changes diapers. But she has another persona too, where she castrates men. She's brutally castrates. She's got she's got a nursery. It's all nice, everything like that. And she's got another room with like implements that will terrify you.
Like for real castrate or role play castrate?
No, she doesn't really. It's all role play. Like I said before on the show, this is all consensual role play. But
some people really want to be castrated.
Yeah.
No, wondering why that is. I don't. I like my cock. I'm very proud of it. Other people seem to like it. I was like, let's keep it. I want it to be healthy. Let's just, please. I just want it to be healthy. Yeah. So, do you have any? I know some doms get a lot of pushback, like, "Oh, you wanted me to hit you. You wanted me to shove this up your ass. You wanted me to do this." Do you ever get people misinterpreting the consensual role play, even before or after the role play happens? Mistress Natasha.
No, I don't. I think when it comes to, like, are you talking about like CNC stuff?
Anything, and like even people who are not in the kink community, they see it and they think it. Even consensual CNC, right? I'm sorry, which is consensual, not consent, or let's say cock and ball torture. That's all consensual, right? But they see it and they think it's like demonic, or they they think, or whatever, so they misinterpret it. So, do you ever have any kind of examples of that?
No, I don't. Like, everything with me is like activities between both parties are pre-negotiated. So, but then it's like, but then you're using a kink or a fetish and you're weaponizing it. So, I mean, that's what I like. That's how I think of it. And it's a consensual, like pre-negotiated, like there's explicit consent with anything, with activities, with role play, with force, with any kind of power exchange. I think power exchange, practical skills, just cast a wide net. We're such a consent oriented community that everything, it'll ruin your reputation if you're a consent violator in the
but
community.
there are also,
yeah.
I mean, there are subs out there who are straight up scumbags. They're psychopaths, scumbags. and that's why references go a long way. I mean, I'm sure I would be surprised if someone on this show had some sub up to them and you had to turn them away because they have a bad reputation, right? I'm sure that's happened, right? So that's what I'm talking about, really, is have you gotten anybody who just misinterprets the role play in any way, even before it starts, and that you have to even turn them away because of that? Mistress Claudia?
I think, speaking for myself, you become seasoned and get a vibe when someone reaches out to you that you don't know. If there's someone that you want to move forward and play with, I like to communicate with whoever I meet with. Most of the people I meet with, I've been seeing for between 5+ years. I think because we do have an open communication, and I don't really have any issues with any type of role play, but I also, you kind of learn to get the vibe from someone if they're, just there's something not right with them. And I'm not saying I'm super particular, but I want to make sure that I have some type of understanding of the person that I'm going to be exploring things with.
Thank you. Domme Danielle, are there any episodes where people misinterpreted consensual role play? And this could be not necessarily that where you've been in the dungeon or a scene, whereas people tried to approach you, or that you just encountered people even before, inside or outside the BDSM community.
There's only one instance that is coming to mind, and that it was when I first started out. So in the Backpage days, right? People would advertise things that they wanted. I was making the so when I started, I was working for an escort company that was not full service. It was really manipulative, bait and switch type stuff. Not good. I did not like it. It's where I encountered my first fetish client, and that's when I was making the transition from that to strictly BDSM. Okay, and so I was advertising on Backpage, and I had communicated lightly with this client. And you always had to keep things vague because you wanted to be. You didn't know if you were speaking with Ellie, so. Things were vague, but stuff was said, and anal was mentioned, and he wanted me to come to his location. And so, long story short, he thought that he was going to be fucking me in the ass, and that wasn't going to happen. So, this was the only time, but it was like my fault because I was just like, I've been doing this over a decade now. That was when I was younger, and, it was my fault for not communicating. I mean, I would never put myself in a situation like that now. Like, there's such a vetting process, and I like what the other women were saying about how you get a feel for someone, and you're not going to do it unless there's been negotiation. And negotiation doesn't always only happen initially. It's ongoing throughout the scene. Might not know it, but we are constantly negotiating the person's boundaries, whether it's unspoken or just by reading body language and heart rate and stuff like that. So I would never put myself in this situation now. I was very naive and ignorant, and nobody got fucked in the ass that day. So
Nobody. Oh, that's the quote. Nobody got fucked in the ass that day.
Yeah, nobody.
I wonder if I have to censor that in the ass that day.
I know. So
I censor ass or fucked.
I don't
know. Chris Bako says, "Looking sharp, you swab fuck." Nicholas, looking sharp, you swab fuck. Oh, thank you, Chris. I don't want my best dressed day to be in a coffin. Let's put it that way. Okay. Yeah.
Good point.
So,
good point.
Thank you very much. Chris Bako says, "Hi, Mistress Natasha. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Celtic kink, anyone?" All right. I was telling Natasha before. I went to a party, St. Patrick's Day spank party at the Manor. Yes, I sissy made out too. Next thing I knew, I had a collar, leash, and I was just in chastity and garter belts and stockings. massaging the feet of my queen on the bottom of the dungeon as she sat on the couch. And then, yeah, it was wonderful. A lot of spanking going around all across the board. So, did you have any Celtic kink involved for St. Patrick's Day? Chris asked. Anybody, Mistress Natasha? You didn't wear any green? Yeah. I didn't wear green at all. I wore black and white. That's the colors of a French maid outfit.
You just wanted to be
Mistress
pinched.
Claudia. What?
You just wanted to be pinched.
Maybe. I was pinched. I was more spanked than pinched though. Anyway, in order to Chris Baco's question, did anyone do any Celtic kink or St. Patty's Day celebration?
No.
Nope. Yeah. I went to a party. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was. But happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, to everybody who sells it.
Yes,
he
happy St. Patrick's Day.
You can be a true masochist and wear orange. All right, Danielle. Okay. All right. Sunshine. First, Sunshine comes in and says, "Good evening, Mistress Natasha, Mistress Claudia, and Domme Danielle." She continues, "I think the biggest misconception of people on the outside of their community is that everything is consensual. It's that simple." Yeah, it's all about consent. It is all about consent, everybody. So let's get on with the questions. Chris goes, "You're welcome." That line from Blue Velvet by Dennis Hopper to Dean Stockwell. Yeah, all right. Where were we? Okay, 15% off all inventory locked in lust with offer code YKF. Now, we did the what's the real you like. Now, this is I feel is important. And we'll go to Mistress Natasha first. How can we maintain people's positive conception of the kink community?
Structure your play and your scenes around like ethics, safety, consent. Make sure that you're learning your correct practical skills and that you also know the boundaries of those skills. You know what your limits are of those skills. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Mistress Claudia, how can we maintain people's positive conception of the kink community?
I think for me, it's open communication. I believe that, especially when you're dealing with communities where, say, it's a gathering of people and they're not respecting other people's boundaries, possibly because they don't know. But I've heard of a lot of people that have had things that were basically violating them. Just sort of, for me, it's, I just really think that people need to have a communication of what they accept, what are things that are off limits. And that goes for anything across the board when you're meeting with someone, either on a private professional session, or if you're meeting in gathering at some type of gathering in with some group or whatever. I just think that there needs to be boundaries that everyone's aware of and everyone respects. And I think a lot of times when people are turned off by anyone in the kink community, it's because their boundaries were violated.
It's true. Thank you for your insight. Domme Danielle, how can we, anybody who's listening to this, people on the show and people in the kink community, how can we maintain people's positive conception of the kink community?
Well, I think that I'm trying to think of what approach I want to take on this. I like open communication, I think, is the best answer. However, you have to be careful who you're openly communicating with. I don't know about the other two women, but I myself have experienced a lot of discrimination from being a sex worker and who have outed myself too. So, you have kink and BDSM people doing it on a personal level, and then you have the professional side. And, I think there's a little more, I think there's a lot more stigma when it's for pay. Because how dare we be, self-actualized women getting money for this, right? Heaven forbid. But one of the things so when I started doing this, it was over a decade ago, and like I was in school, and I remember trying to broach the topic of BDSM, professional BDSM, sex work, and nobody wanted to talk about it. It was very hush hush. In the classroom, I would bring it up, and I was met with like deadpan stares. And in my master's program, which I finished like a few years ago, I was so happy and refreshed to see these young kids. They're like, 18, 19, 20, that are already very kink, sex work positive. And so I think the narrative is changing. Thank God. Thanks to technology. And I think it'll just continue to change. I really do. But communication is important.
Well, one thing my dad always said to me was, the only constant in life is change. He's looking at it that way.
Amen.
So let's change up and let's promote ourselves. Let's get some money and promote ourselves and our friends. Mistress Natasha, what is femdom decadence? Please tell us all about this.
Yeah, I'll be really brief.
Cool.
It's like a 1-day full immersive play experience with 12 mistresses in the Joshua Tree Desert on Saturday the 22nd. And yeah, it's a full day of just high protocol. We also have like a half day as well that people can do, and you just apply on the website. You apply to serve, and it's really it's definitely like a well, it's a BDSM play party, obviously, but it's super high protocol. It's total power exchange, and it's just getting back to the roots and maintaining the roots of traditional femdom.
This looks incredible.
Yes. It's at a private
like
residence, a mansion there. Really, really beautiful. I'm super excited. And like the mistresses are just, I feel so honored to be part of this group. I really do.
I feel honored just hearing about it from you. This is oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, thank you. Mistress Claudia, we can get in touch with you here at mistressclaudia.com, and this is your website, but it is with a Z, spelled with a Z, correct?
Yes.
Is this the best way to contact you?
Yes. Or through text message on my cell phone. I always respond to a text message or an email.
And one thing that please, I urge anybody who follows femdom, BDSM, please follow Mistress Claudia. I always talk about the people have this light inside of them. Mistress Claudia definitely has this. The religious play alone is magnificent. I really think I want to do an interview where Mistress Claudia dresses up as a nun and interviews me to see if I can get into heaven. I think that'd be fun.
I love it.
Yeah, today. Well, because of the time difference, that the time when I said to you, "Oh, I'll see you at 4:45," but what I didn't realize is that right now it's 4:46 here, so I didn't realize the time difference. It kind of messed up.
It's all good. You are here now, and I am so thankful. And you have a friend who I need to get in contact with. who do you want to give her a shout out yourself?
Oh, yeah, I gave you her number. I didn't know if she was going to come on the podcast. Her name is Crimson Morningstar, and she's in the Tucson, Arizona area. And I don't know if she, because of the time difference, she may be off as well. Because I told her that it started at 5, and I think that she might be off on the time as well.
Well, I truly apologize for any mix-up on the time.
It's fine. It's fine. We don't have the daylight savings time like the East Coast.
We're weird like that. All right, Domme Danielle, what is your website? How can we get in touch? How can we go there?
It's kinkencounters.com. DommeDanielle.com will get you there too, but Kink Encounters is the main one. Kinkencounters.com. Yeah.
All right, since everyone's here, I want to know. So what's next? Let's go around. I'm planning on doing this every weekend. You know, kind of float around. We're gonna get this is a lesson. We're always trying to improve. So thank you for teaching me, Miztress Claudia, about the importance of daylight saving time and how the whole mountain time is Arizona is different. Again, it's all about creativity and learning and becoming better, right? Seriously, I'll say this to the day I die. Ladies, you make me a better man. Knowing you makes me a better man, and I thank you. So, how can people? Best way to get in touch with you? Anything else you want to promote? Let's go around the room. Mistress Natasha.
Oh, okay. Yes, my website, please, mistressnatasha.com. That's how you can get a hold of me, and that's how you can do in-person sessions. And then in January, I just launched my Loyal Fans. So super excited about that. So that's been really, really fun. And I'm venturing into making new content and eventually clips and videos. So thank you.
Nice.
Thank you all. You've been we talk, all of us, like seriously, we talk offline. I cherish our conversations. I truly do. Life is short. It's all about our connections. So let's connect. Let's move forward. Mistress Claudia, anything else you'd like to promote?
No.
Domme Danielle, anything else?
I just want to say thank you for hosting this. Having done this for so long in the beginning, it was very isolating. I found it very hard to connect with others in the industry, and I think that's changed over time. And so I just appreciate the space to even share space with 2 other women who are my colleagues, and I'm just thankful to be in that space. So thanks for creating that, and with you as well, not just them, but yeah.
Thank you. And about a quick thing about misconceptions is that one of the reasons I do this is, and I do it, there's no editing, there's no air horn, there's no special effects, none of that bullshit, right? One of the reasons I do that is because I want to capture real. I want to capture the kink community for real. The kink community has genuinely good people, and I want to celebrate that. Everybody, please read a book. Your kinky friends. Coolest way to kill yourself. Thank you very much. Be cool. Be kind. Keep an open mind. Have a great night. Take care.
Bye.